I call the meeting to order. Will everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Mayor Gibbons,
Here.
Councilmember McLean,
Here.
Councilmember Reinecker,
Here.
Councilmember Schaefer,
Here.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Here.
Councilmember Jack
Here.
Councilmember Lissow.
Here. Wonderful. Thank you. And before we go any further, I want to welcome Jackie Graves here this evening, replacing John Hessel. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
We'll move to presentations and would the Human Rights Commissioner, Jeff Morrison, please come up to make the presentation?
Good evening. I'm Jeff Morrison. I'm the current chair of the Kirkwood Human Rights Commission. Every January, the Human Rights Commission sponsors a essay contest for high school juniors. This year's contest asked the students to respond to the question, what is the most important human rights issue currently and why? In recent contests, the commission has on average gotten around 78 to 84 or so essays. This year we received, excuse me, 114 essays.
Wow.
The commission tonight recognized 4 of these essay writers as being the best, their essays being the best based on the merits of the human rights issue selected and the arguments for its selection and the skill and clarity of communication. So what I'm going to do is ask the award winners to come up in reverse order with the 4th person first and receive their award. Miles Deck of Kirkwood High School, 4th place winner. The 3rd place awardee is Brooke Tatum of Ursuline Academy. Congratulations. The 2nd place winner, Hector Warren, is from Kirkwood High School. And the 1st place award of $100 goes to Jocelyn Taylor of Kirkwood High School. Okay. All right. Maybe if we could stand together with the mayor and well, and we've got a number of commissioners here tonight.
Should all come up.
Why don't we all come up?
Yeah.
Happy to meet the pictures.
Is there a test? There'll be a test.
Felt like it.
Thank you.
Thanks, Jeff.
I just read 4. Thanks for whittling it down.
Okay, since there's no public hearings tonight, we'll move into public comments. Do we have any public comments this
You want me
evening?
to read the statement?
Oh, statement from
Okay.
Lori first.
The public comments portion of the meeting is an opportunity for the city council to listen to comments from citizens. It is not a question and answer session, and the city council will not respond to comments or answer questions during this period. The mayor may refer any matter brought up to the city council to the chief administrative officer or city clerk if action is needed.
Mayor and council, there are a couple of requests for comment at this time. The first one was William Winter.
Thank you. And good evening, Mayor and all city council members. Some of you know who I am, but you're all new. And it's good to see you here this evening in your new positions. I'm here as an advocate for the citizens who live in the Meacham Park subdivision of Kirkwood. I'm a member of the Meacham Park Neighborhood Improvement Association. And my purpose for greeting you this evening is to invite you to attend an annual event that the MNIA puts on in the Memorial Park, which is the Kirkwood Park inside of the subdivision of Meacham Park. It's a back to school rally. It's an annual event, and we now have a date for that event. Your city has supported this event in previous years, and I'm just inviting you again to participate. It's on August the 3rd, which is a Saturday. If at any chance you are out and about on August 3rd, please drop by the Memorial Park inside of Meacham Park to witness the attendance, the enthusiasm of the people living there, because that's their back to school rally. It's like a week before school starts. And we will hand out to the children not only school supplies, but backpacks for each child so they can begin their school year fresh. We've done this for several years in the past, and we usually hand out 300 backpacks along with supplies inside of those backpacks. So if you have a chance, this is your invitation to come by on that date. I left a reminder at your desk. Just drop by. It's not only good for you to be seen by the neighborhood, but the neighborhood certainly recognizes you and appreciates your support and your approval for the things that the MNI does in that area. Thank you very much.
And Bill, just to get it in the record, we'll say it's noon to 3.
Yes, anytime from noon to 3. There'll be people there ahead of time too. But if you're in the area, just drop by, and your appearance there, let me tell you, has a great meaning to the residents there. So if you have a chance, that would be a good thing to do, August 3rd.
If we
Thank-
want to donate to this association, can we do that? How do we do that?
You can do that. I didn't think it's on that sheet. We have a number, a phone number. I'm available for donations to be designated for that. William Winter, my phone number, area 314-966-6323. If you look up MNIA on your computers, and you'll find our association on there too, if you want to pay by some other means. Donations are acceptable. Thank you. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Carmody.
Good evening, Mayor, council members, staff. I appreciate the opportunity to speak tonight. I'm here to speak on Big Bend and the speed limit, something I've been somewhat active with since 2017. some of you, Mayor, Nancy, have been very supportive and done a lot of things for us, and we appreciate it. But I'm here to ask for more. I'm here to ask that you take a look at the John Hopkins study that was turned into the city, and take a look at the results of their study. What happens when you do 30 miles an hour and not narrow the lanes to 9 feet. In speaking with some of the people that did the study, I think safer streets would be more than supportive if the resolution called for a 25-mile-per-hour speed limit and a lane width of 10 feet. I want you folks to know there's been a lot. I started to go through the records today. The first letter I found that I wrote was March 16th, 2018 on this subject. On my notes, it looked like there were 3 meetings we had before I wrote the letter. And since then, as some of you probably know, there's been hundreds of letters from me. Thank you. And phone calls and meetings. And I sincerely appreciate it. We have also had meetings with St. Louis County. We've testified to St. Louis County about the dangers of Big Bend. We've given them data, we've given them statistics, and we just can't get traction with them. And I think some of you can relate to that. I happened to run into Joe Calusa a couple of weeks ago at a meeting, who's the director of St. Louis County Transportation. And Joe called me over and said, Michael, you're going to be happy to hear this. We're going to come forth with a speed limit reduction. I said, oh, great. How about the lanes? You're going to reduce the lanes. And he kind of hemmed and hawed. He said, I'm working as hard as I can to get it below 10 feet. Excuse me, 12 feet. And I said, it makes no difference. I asked him if he had gone through the John Hopkins study. He had never seen it. So having said that, in the spirit of where St. Louis County is, and I'm not taking this lightly at all, but in the spirit of St. Louis County, I want to leave behind a tool that I'd like all of you to put in your glove box. And the tool is, if you're post in a crash, I'd like you all to have one of these in your glove box. It's a Band-Aid, and it symbolizes what St. Louis County has been offering us. Please take one and put it in your glove box. Thank you very much. From Big Bend.
Mayor and council, there are no additional requests for comment at this time.
Okay, thank you. We will move into the consent agenda now. Is there a motion and a second to approve the consent agenda?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on the consent agenda? No? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And I'll abstain.
Okay. All those opposed? No. Okay, very good. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to unfinished business, please. Bill 11033.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance granting a special use permit for an accessory dwelling unit for the property addressed as 740 North Taylor Avenue, subject to certain conditions.
Okay, are there any questions to Bill 1103? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Gibbons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker.
To vote to approve it?
Yes, this is final vote. Mhm.
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jack
Yes.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, Bill 11033 has passed, final reading. Now we're moving on to Bill 11034.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance appropriating $2,085.79 from the Equitable Sharing Fund balance to the Police Department rolling stock account for the purchase of emergency vehicle equipment for the Police Department's utility terrain vehicle.
Are there any questions or comments to Bill 110334? Anybody? Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gibbons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker,
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jack Sadek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Yes.
All right. Bill 11034 passes. We're moving on to Bill 11035.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance amending Chapter 4, Animals and Fowl, Section 49 of the Municipal Code of Ordinances to provide exceptions for reasonable accommodations for persons with disabilities.
Are there any questions or comments on this bill? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Mayor Gibbons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker,
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jack Sadek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Yes.
Okay, Bill 11035 is passed. We will move into new business. Bill 11036.
Were we going to,
Oh, where did it go?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to amend the new agenda to remove Resolution 82-2024, please.
Okay,
I'll
second
that.
Thank you.
okay. Just so that everyone knows, and we'll vote on this in a second, this is being pulled back to be rebid. So now, is it, all those in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Okay, we're going to be pulling that back. Sorry. Okay, now we're moving on to Bill 11036. Thank you.
Mayor and Council, this is an ordinance amending the provisions of the Municipal Code, Chapter 25, Zoning and Subdivision by changing the personal and commercial service, restaurant and retail business use specific standards for hours of operation in the B1 Neighborhood Business District.
Do I have a motion to accept and a second to accept the bill?
Motion.
First reading. Okay,
Second.
great. Are there any questions? No? All right, we're going to go ahead and vote yay or nay. All those in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? Okay. Bill 1136 has passed. Okay. Now we're moving on to resolution. Moving on to resolution 88-2024.
Mayor and Council, this is a resolution accepting the bid of Gray Bar Electric Company in the amount of $87,587.94 for the purchase of full boxes, vaults, and copper wire for the Sugar Creek substation for the electric department, and authorizing and directing the Director of Procurement to issue a purchase order.
Good. Do I have a motion and a second?
So moved.
Second.
Very good. Are there any questions about this bill?
I have a question. This is,
Go ahead, Councilmember McLean.
it's overhead wire to be used for low fuse auto dealership, is that correct?
No, this is actually for the Sugar Creek substation.
But, okay. That's attached to,
Oh,
the legislation request is attached to Resolution 88-2024.
That's the wrong one, see.
Yeah,
oh, yeah.
all right, okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Different.
I thought I was at mixing apples and oranges there, but that's what I wanted to raise the question. Okay,
This is right here. Yeah.
Mayor, I have no questions.
Okay. All righty, seeing no questions. All those in favor, say aye.
Resolution will be a roll call.
Oh, roll call, sorry.
Yep, that's okay. Mayor Gibbons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker,
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jack Sadek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Yes.
Okay. Moving on to Resolution 89, 2024.
Mayor and Council, this is a resolution accepting the proposal of DG2 Design Landscape Architecture in the amount not to exceed of $93,549, which includes a contingency of $8,500 for design and construction document services for the Mitchell Park Master Plan, and authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract.
Do I have a motion and second for Bill 89, 2024? I'm sorry, so Resolution 89, 2024. Okay.
Second.
Okay. Is there discussion? Any questions?
I just have a question.
Yes, Councilmember Giselle.
On the second page, it talks that the cost is 93,549, but the budgeted amount was 575,000. Is the 93 part of a bigger?
It is. It is. This is just design services. The 575,000 is the total grant amount to do the entire Mitchell Park project.
Okay.
I have a question too. So
Okay.
there's a comment that says 90% of the project be reimbursed by St. Louis County. Is that 90% of the 575?
No, 575 is 90% of the total
That's
project.
90%. Okay.
Correct. That is the amount of the grant.
Okay.
Any other questions?
Well, I was just
Councilmember
wondering,
Gonzalez.
and I'm excited, I'm sure the residents over near this park are excited about all of these improvements and dealing with stormwater issues over there. Russ, I've only had one meeting with the park board, so I don't know the answer to this question. I'm just wondering, as we put in new improvements and more and upgraded design and plant new trees and all that kind of stuff, the park fund the park fund, are they able to just absorb any new maintenance costs for all the new facilities? Or is that as part of the $500,000 grant? Is that going to be set aside for, or how do they
No,
usually
there's
do
no part of the
things?
grant that's going to be set aside for maintenance. It's an ongoing maintenance need when you do improvements. So that's part of what they budget every year for maintenance. So this will be an additional maintenance.
Oh.
They've evaluated and determined that they can handle that.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Any other, yes, Councilmember McLean.
What's in the contract for $93,549? What is it they're actually gonna do?
It's design services to design the location and landscaping of the improvements and how the park will be laid out.
Okay, this is it's a small lot. And for 93,000, I'm trying to figure out what they can do for us for $93,000. That seems like an awful lot of money for it's a relatively flat piece of ground that I know there's some drainage issues. But what are we getting for $93,000?
We're getting the park designed, and that's basically what they bid.
For structures or, I mean, what are they, I mean, I'm trying to get my hand around it. 93,000 is an awful lot
Improvements
of
to
money.
the park, well, correct. I mean, the entire project is $600,000+, I believe, with the 575 being the grant, being 90%.
Right, which
of it.
193,000 is just for the design of a small lot that tell us where to plant trees and how to drain the water and.
Well, I think that,
kind of-
I think there are drainage calculations that are involved there, grading, necessary grading. All of that has to be designed out, and it doesn't come cheap.
And why is there a contingency fee? And shouldn't this be a flat fee? I mean, we know, we have a lot, we see the lot.
Mhm.
They should be able to come and say, we can design this for you for $87,000 because we don't need a contingency fee.
We typically put a contingency fee in there for unforeseen expenses, typically of about $10,000, 10%, which is about 10,000 in this case.
Okay, and in this case, what could be unforeseen when they're just doing, I'm
Site review.
tight review. Thank you.
What could be unforeseen?
Uh.
Should they dig and find something underground they weren't aware of? Whenever you're involved in digging and grading, you can come across unforeseen things that may not be on maps. We put that in there so we don't have to come back to city council and ask for $400 or 4,000 or 8,000. It's not going to be expended if it's not needed.
So these guys are actually going to do some digging on the ground for the help, for,
In order to design the work, they may have to turn the ground. That is correct.
I
Have to
guess
pull
it gets back to
cords or-
what's in the contract? I assume there's a written contract?
There is a written contract, yes.
Okay, and I mean, I personally would like to see the written contract,
Okay.
just to see what's in it.
We can provide it to you, no problem.
Because I'm just confused and baffled at $93,000, Mayor, for this. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Do you have a motion of any kind?
Motion to continue this and for the next meeting, so it gives us a chance to review the contract and see what's in it.
Second.
June 20th, that's fine.
You second the
Second it, yeah.
motion? All those in favor, say aye.
I,
With a caveat, will that back anything up or change anything?
I can't say.
Okay. Okay,
I'm not aware that it will back anything up beyond the 2 weeks that we're talking about.
okay, thank you.
Has this gone to, does this go through the park board at all, or does it just go to the council?
I believe the park board has accepted the approach that's being taken and accepted the grant, but the council determines the contractual aspects. So
Okay, so they haven't been involved in this piece.
Don't believe so.
Were there competing bids on this?
I'm not familiar with the
I don't
specifics
see,
on this
there's
particular
just
bid.
one number.
It says proposals were received, so it's an S on it, but who knows? Yeah.
Typically for this would be an RFQ, which is not a competing bid process. It's a competing request for qualifications process, which means that design firms will submit their qualifications, and then we determine which is the best through a process in our procurement that involves staff review and expert review of the qualifications, and then we work with the most qualified bidder on a proposal.
Well, and the resolution says a request for proposals was developed, so it looks like it was an RFP.
Okay, so if it was an
They got-
RFP, then
That would have had the
that would go
financial
through,
piece in it.
that's correct. It would go through the process, but would include the financial
The
piece
piece.
on the, you're correct.
Councilmember Letzo?
Well, so the whole information packet, the background information on this, I don't know if everybody had a chance to look at it. So an RFQ was issued. Only one response was received from DG2 Design, and then an RFP was requested from them. And their submittal was a bit over $85,000, and then, as typical, the city tacked on at least a 10% contingency for possible unforeseen costs. There are several options for the Mitchell Park Master Plan. I don't know where the park board is on considering those and which one, which one they would actually pursue, but various options, water like for kids, sprinklers and pavilions. Some of the existing trees that are declining would be removed and new trees planted, rain garden to deal with some of the runoff issues from flowing from the north to the south. So there's lots of information in here about how this whole process. Now, I'm not sure about Park Board, if they will be the ones who decide. I mean, I imagine they will be, and we are the ones who approve the money. Yeah, so that's kind of a sort of a overview of how I look at this whole thing. That's all.
Yes, Councilmember Schaefer.
So is this, sorry, I'm maybe redundant in asking a question here. The stormwater retention that they're talking about is just for this property? Or is this trying to mitigate some stormwater retention issues in the neighborhood that's now happening? Are they trying to address that as all part of this in the park,
This is just this property.
just for this
Mhm.
property? Okay, just trying to wrap my head around that.
Mhm.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, we have a motion on the table to continue. Oh, I'm sorry, Councilmember Zimmer.
That's all right. To answer your question, it looks like here we sent the RFQ to 22 firms and DG2 is the only one that responded. So that could explain some of the price. Yeah, yeah.
Is that usual? This is not the
It
first
is.
time. I think last meeting we had another instance where there's only one.
I wouldn't say it's usual to receive only one for an RFQ. That seems a little on the unusual side.
Get more than one.
Mm-hmm.
Prices.
Okay. Well, we will take a vote on the motion now to continue this. All those in favor, aye. Opposed, no. We'll continue that. Thank you. Okay, moving on to Resolution 90, 2024.
Mayor and Council, this is a resolution accepting the proposal of ARC Images in the not-to-exceed amount of $336,280, which includes contingency of $36,030 for professional design services for the new Public Works facility located at 545 Leffingwell Avenue, and authorizing and directing the mayor to enter into a contract.
Do I have a motion and second?
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Any discussion on this bill?
Just a question of clarification. So in this one, we issued RFQs and we got one and we picked it and then we got the cost, the bid on it
That is correct.
after we,
This is
so,
a straight RFQ process. You're correct.
and then the amount came in.
We have multiple bidders. I participated on the review of this one, as well as our Public Services Director and Electric Director and our Procurement Director. Basically, we had some really highly qualified bidders on this. We had knocked it down to 4 for presentations and determined that ARC Images was the most qualified and worked with them on their proposal.
What's your comparison in terms of that being a reasonable bid? I mean, how do you evaluate that? When it comes down to the
So
financial.
our
piece?
our procurement office determines if something is out of bounds based on what we've seen for similar types of bids previously. This was quite within the realm of what we had budgeted, and we were no issues with this number.
So your procurement manager
Mhm.
really tracks and keeps up on the competitive
Absolutely.
nature of these bids? Okay.
Okay, Councilmember Schaefer.
Just for clarification, I'm looking through this and it says that the budgetary appropriations is coming out of street improvements. I just need clarification on that for me, if you could.
So the budgetary aspects of this are included in the capital plan. They're not in street improvements, so that's a misnomer.
Okay, so this is a typo error in here.
Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions, discussion? Any
Question.
Councilmember Wetzel?
I was just, and maybe this is way off base, but I was just wondering, Russ, the current Public Works facility, are there any opportunities over there for, aside from moving all of our mobile equipment and all that kind of stuff, but are there any opportunities for any kind of whatever structures, facilities for being reused, recycling, upcycling?
Mhm.
Or are we going to just start
No, I
completely
think we're
new
going to
over?
try to reuse whatever we can that makes sense.
Mhm.
It's going to be part of the overall relocation project and
I mean, aside from the obvious, like whatever dumpsters and, like,
I think there are built-in aspects of our building that we can deconstruct and rebuild in other locations, absolutely.
okay.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay. All those in favor? Aye.
Be a roll call.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay.
Roll call on this one?
Mayor Gibbons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker,
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jack Sadek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Yes. All righty, moving on to Resolution 91, 2024.
Mayor and Council, this is a resolution accepting the bid of Sentinel Emergency Solutions LLC in the amount of $269,285.03 pursuant to a Sourcewell cooperative contract for the purchase of Lion V-Force gear, personal protective equipment for the fire department, and authorizing and directing the Director of Procurement to issue a purchase order.
Thank you. May I have a motion and second?
So moved.
Any discussion or questions?
I think our fire department is here tonight. Would you like to address this and have any words to this? Please? Sorry.
That's good. That's fine.
So this is a every 5-year purchase we do at the fire department. We replace our turnout gear every 5 years. NFPA requires us to maintain our turnout gear for no more than 10 years. With cancer and the ability to wash turnout gear, we require that all members have 2 sets. So by replacing it every 5 years on this continuous cycle, it always ensures that we're within NFPA compliance, as well as all our members have that second set that they can wear. If we get a fire, they can wash it and have a second set that's ready to go. So this is just that same process that we do. So the firefighters tested out 2 different sets of turnout gear, the Globe Athletics and the Lion V-Force, and they overwhelmingly liked the V-Force. So when we met with our source procurement, we were able to get a Sourcewell contract on it, and that's where we're at. So it's a full replacement other than their helmets. Helmets can be gross decon in the field and worn right back in service. So we didn't have to replace helmets this time. We replaced them 5 years ago. So in another 5 years, I'll be standing up here in front of you all again and saying, hey, listen, this is the time we got to buy fire helmets now. So perfect. Happy to answer any other questions you guys have
I
related
have
to
a
it.
question. What
Yes.
do you do with the old gear that's?
So currently what we
Year
do,
old,
so
yeah.
10-year-old gear, what we're doing with it is there's 2 places we actually donate it to. One is Camp Fury, which actually, if you've heard about it, it does a lot of work with females in the fire service and trying to engage them in the fire service. And so it's kind of one of those opportunities where they don't go into fires, but it kind of puts them in that weight of a turnout gear. And then we donate some gear to Mid-County Fire Protection District. They have a cadet program that goes into North St. Louis County into some of the high schools and tries to get those high school students involved in the fire service in some of those areas and show them that there's opportunities there. Really has no value to us or to the fire service at that point, but it's just kind of an opportunity for us to kind of, try to hit that market if we can. So.
Thanks.
Yep.
That was
Councilmember
actually one of
Giuseppe.
my questions, but the other is, do you all have any trouble getting gear? I mean, is it still pretty readily available out there?
Yeah, so it's funny. It used to be like a hot commodity for whatever reason. And now we're back to the normal 120-day cycle. So once we place an order, we'll have everybody be custom fitted for their gear. So it'll be individually fitted to them, which is really nice. And then 120, 140 days after that, we should receive our product then.
Don't have a supply chain problem.
Not on turnout gear. Fire truck's a different story, but the turnout gear, we're good. We're good on turnout gear right now.
Know about
So
that.
don't jinx us.
Sorry.
Anyone else?
Thank you.
Okay,
Great,
roll
thank you.
call, please.
For coming.
Mayor Gibbons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker,
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jack Sadek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Yes. Moving on to Resolution 92, 2024.
This is a resolution authorizing the city of Kirkwood to provide insurance coverage at an annual cost of $724,109, effective June 1st, 2024 through June 1st, 2025.
Do I have a motion and second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I have a question.
Yes, Councilmember Giuseppe.
Russ, this is, again, on that second page or whatever. Cost is 724,000, but we budgeted 934,000. It looks like we budgeted $200,000 over. Is there something else in this line item that will come out of there?
David, I'm going to let David answer that because he was involved in this procurement.
So that's the overall funding for not only the premiums on our insurance, but also liability contingency and a couple of other items that come out of those same accounts. Because it comes out of multiple accounts spread over multiple cost centers.
So there's other, and that may or may not be expended over the year or?
Yeah, there is a portion of it that may not be expended. The rest of it is, there's additional premiums on smaller individual insurance items. This doesn't include, for example, insurance on our police drone that they utilize and things along those lines.
But this number includes that, or does not? include that?
This number does not include that.
Okay. It
Yeah. So there
includes-
are also smaller individual lines on things.
Okay, thank you.
Questions? Yes, Councilmember McLean.
Thank you, Mayor. First of all, good job on getting a reduction of 32,000. Is that partly because of maybe workman's comp claims weren't as much, or what's the cause of the reduction?
Partially, the workers' comp did go down due to, we did have a lighter year last year, but that's over a rolling 3-year average for our insurances. The remainder was we did have a couple of switches in providers that have given us another look here that we've been trying to actively engage in the last couple of cycles. So that actually helped drive down some of the costs as well. So you'll see that there was a couple of changes in providers.
Thank you. And then the liability, does this cover liability for parks? I mean, this is just a general question. What's it cover liability for? Everything?
Pretty much the entire city for, different items, but you're talking property and you're talking our general liability and our workers' comp liability.
Thank you. That's all I have, Mayor.
Yes, Councilmember Schaefer.
Yes, thank you. Do we know what our mod rate is here in town?
Are you talking about our experience mod for our workers' comp?
Yes.
I don't want to misquote the exact one, but we actually more recently have hovered between 1 and under 1, which is exemplary for someone that has public safeties.
Yes. Thank you.
Any more discussion? Okay, roll call, please.
Mayor Gibbons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker,
Yes.
Councilmember Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jack Sadek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Yes.
Moving on to Resolution 93, 2024.
Mayor and Council, this is a resolution of the City Council of the City of Kirkwood requesting that St. Louis County Department of Transportation to lower the speed limit on Big Bend from Interstate 270 to the eastern City of Kirkwood limits to 30 miles per hour.
Do I have a motion and second?
Go move.
Any discussion?
Well, I applaud the mayor for calling for this resolution. We've been working for quite some time with St. Louis County to try and get some measures in place to help slow traffic down. In my view, this is just one step, and it's hopefully one in many. Big Bend is maintained by St. Louis County, so a completely different entity from the city of Kirkwood. We have to consult with them, and get their approval, and oftentimes they don't have the funds to do whatever could or should be done down there. So we either fund it ourselves or it just kind of sits. They do have a major repaving improvement project that is more or less teed up down there. I don't know exactly when it's gonna launch, but I look forward to the improvements that will help with pedestrian safety in that Big Bend corridor from 270 to the I-44 Big Bend intersection. I certainly hope that we can make every effort to keep the speed limit at 30 miles per hour and not have drivers assuming that they can go 5 or 10 miles over and, not suffer any possible consequences. It's important for all of for students and staff at Merrimack Community College, at Robinson Elementary School, at Vianney, all of all of the neighbors in the area as we try and convert to a more user-friendly, pedestrianized community where it's safe to walk and I don't think we're going to put bicycles down there, but for all users to be able to cross the street without major fear or to walk, along the campus of Merrimack. So I'm hoping that we can keep pressing St. Louis County to work with us to get additional safety measures in place along Big Bend. If we could have a lane reduction, I think that would be another small victory, and perhaps we can talk Mr. Colessa into looking at reducing the size of the lanes to help to be an additional measure to slow traffic down there.
Thank you. And let me just address for a minute. Mayor Griffin and I met with county executive Sam Page and two of his folks about, I think, a year and a half ago.
April 2023.
April
I was
2023.
sick, unfortunately.
Yes, and
Lobbied
asked
this.
at that time if we could get the speed lowered, and we're pretty resoundingly said, no, they wouldn't consider it. So this is, like you said, a first step that we're taking to get something done. So, any other questions down here?
I just have a quick comment. I just want to thank the citizens of Kirkwood, the residents of Kirkwood, for their persistence in something like this, Mayor, and I hope it opens the door with the county to at least bring them to the table.
Yes, Councilmember Zimmer.
Thank you. I just want to make a plug to our Vision Zero program. We have a citywide program called Vision Zero. And the more organized and comprehensive plan that we have, we can use that plan to leverage in our negotiations with St. Louis County. So I think it's important that we continue to focus on the citywide Vision Zero based safety plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Schaefer.
Just one comment on here about the speed. There's multiple different speeds through there. It's 30, 35, 40 miles an hour on Big Bend. I think making it consistent like our Adams is, which is a county road that starts in Kirkwood and goes all the way into Glendale. Keeping it a consistent speed all the way through will make things better, I think, as well, because the up and down and kids get out of school at Merrimack and they're going down a hill and they want to go fast and get on 270 and head home. So I think if we get it down to 30 miles an hour, I think that will help tremendously. So that's my 2 cents.
Thank you. Okay. Oh,
Just
Councilmember just said it.
A wrap-up comment, hopefully. I think it's a start, but I do think even though we have the Vision Zero, we need to be able to update it when new information comes out there. So I know there's reference to the Johns Hopkins study and all that. I hope we don't just get cemented in one way without looking at new information that comes up, and that we should be striving at all times to even go above and beyond. So, I know the county plays into this. Dennis has been on TV kind of going, we got a lot of people, giving us feedback. But again, I think there's residents that are across the board concerned, Big Bend, Kirkwood Road, even in our neighborhoods. So we have a good plan, but it's time we look at how we really can strengthen it if it needs to be strengthened. So I don't ever see a document as a one and done.
Very good. Okay. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gibbons,
Yes.
Councilmember McLean,
Yes.
Councilmember Reinecker, Councilmember Schaefer,
Yes.
Councilmember Zimmer,
Yes.
Councilmember Jack Sadek,
Yes.
Councilmember Lizzo.
Yes. Resolution 93, 2024 passes. City Council reports. Does anyone have, Councilmember Zimmer?
Yes, thank you. Today is the 80th anniversary of the D-Day invasion of Normandy in Europe. It's an important date for all of us to remember, especially the way the world is today with continued wars and violence. and support of autocratic governments. Our body is representative of the freedom and liberty and justice that we all should be demanding. And so we should take time to remember their sacrifices from 80 years ago today.
Thank you. Very nice. Yes, Councilmember Jessetic.
Landmarks did their annual awards, which was a great evening. And one of my favorite places, Honeybees, AKA used to be Velvet Freeze, got a nice award. And it really is, between the businesses recognized in the homes, it was really a nice event for the city and for those who live here. And Landmarks was my other one, and they had an emergency 8 a.m. meeting so we could get 4 hands opened. So I get, 8 a.m., not my favorite time. Get over there, get settled. They open the meeting, vote yes, close the meeting, like 8:05, we were done.
Oh,
So it was, another good group willing to go the extra mile to work with one of our businesses in the community. To our
very
company,
good.
so.
Thank you. Just want to remind everyone that this weekend is Cars and Guitars in downtown Kirkwood from 4 o'clock until 11 o'clock. There's stages on both ends of Jefferson set up for bands throughout the evening, and then all the cars will be there. Awards given out to the cars at about 8:30. So anybody else with anything? Okay. Chief Administrative Officer report.
I have nothing to report at this time, Mayor.
Does our fill-in city attorney have a report?
I have nothing to report.
Okay. We're glad you're here.
Thank you.
City clerk report?
Yes, Your Honor. I have report of last evening's Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. The following action was taken. After a presentation by staff for a special use permit for outdoor dining for Cafe Napoli at 436 North Kirkwood Road. It's in the James Apartment Building. The commission recommended approval by a vote of 7-0. A public hearing will be scheduled for that for July 3rd. After a presentation by staff for a major site plan partial amendment at Greenbrier Hills Country Club at 12665 Big Bend Boulevard for changes to the pickleball court fencing, the commission failed to recommend approval by a vote of 3-4. A public hearing will be scheduled for that for July 18th. And that's all I have to report.
Very good. So I put away my stuff. Now what do I do? Okay. Seeing no further business, this meeting is now adjourned. The next regular meeting is scheduled for June 20th, 2024.